Thank you, guys. Well, welcome once again. We've invited you here today to share our initiative to build a national alliance for immersive learning. This initiative would shape the future of learning by de-siloing government, industry, academia. We've all seen it. We've seen the holodecks. We've seen the science fiction films of screens hanging in the air. Our students have seen it. It's what they're expecting from us. And we share an imagined future of learning. About 9 years ago, a woman with the government who was a technologist, Dr. Nina Berry, said to me, JJ, I would prefer a nurse wrote the software for healthcare than a computer scientist. And now our computer scientists have built sandboxes that allow non-coders to put their subject matter expertise into immersive experiences. So we can have it if we build it together. Right now, immersive technology is inside the adoption curve. It has not crossed the adoption chasm yet. Universities, we know this because universities have failed to deploy XR and AI at scale, right? Students lack the newest tools because they're not being given them, because the universities don't have access to them. They don't know they're there. They're not providing them. And the hardware companies don't have a reason for people to put on their headsets because the must-have experiences aren't there. We don't have the Angry Birds. We don't have the Microsoft Word yet. We don't have the content. So what is the opportunity? We believe over the next 3 years, we can bring together 100+ labs to create immersive content for the country. And what does that do? It builds a network of universities that are exchanging information. By the way, once that happens, we have a marketplace and there's revenue, right? We have thousands of students right out the gate because every lab has 2 to 24 work-study students. So that plus times 100, right? We've got that many students coming out the gate as that future workforce in the first year. And what else is spun out of this is standards and practices. What we need is an ecosystem that brings together the resources of government, industry, and academia. You were invited here because you're already advancing immersive learning today. We are solving complementary challenges across various sectors, and we need each other. You represent one of the cogs of this wheel. In every one of the places of the circle of life is represented here at the table today. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, tell us what sector you're in, and the challenge that you're facing. Now, we have a number of people on the call today, and we've got to be efficient, so I'm going to ask everyone to keep it to a minute, and then there will be more opportunities for us to come together in the future. So I'm JJ Rosella, CEO of Rosella Immersive, and the challenge we are tackling currently is assisting universities to open immersive labs that are actively creating learning content, not just digesting, not just showing off, but building stuff to deploy. So I'd like to begin with Chris Sadler. Chris, would you introduce yourself and your colleagues from your organization and tell us what you've been tackling with immersive learning?
Sure. So I'm Chris Sadler. I'm the director of the Public Safety Innovation Center at the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority. So VIPC, as we call ourselves, we're a quasi-state agency. We're a nonprofit arm of the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority. and kind of our gig is to help with new technology, entrepreneurship, to expedite their great ideas and their great invigoration and momentum, motivation into the commercial world. I've been working with JJ from a public safety point of view for integration of VR work for training and certification curriculum for public safety. As we all know, every public safety agency, whether it's law enforcement, fire rescue, EMS, they're understaffed all across the country. It's hard to get people to want to come into the emergency services job field nowadays. So that creates an issue of ongoing training, required training for continued certifications and things, because you don't have the staffing to take equipment and police officers, firefighters out of service to go to the needed training. So a lot of it is needed to be done now in-house at the fire stations or at the police stations on duty. And this provides a way to provide that. It also provides a way to essentially to take the same experience that you're doing right now, the same learning environment, the same experience, and duplicate that over and over and over again to other people an hour from now, 2 hours from now, the next day, next week, and put it in your library to use for the future. I just see this technology as being huge for the future of the emergency services training and certification world. So with me also have Chuck Kirby. Chuck is our smart data and master of all trades at the VIPC. And then I'm not sure if he jumped on yet, but he will shortly. Our boss, Conway Haskins, he brings a lot of experience in the investment world and the other parts of what VIPC does. So super happy to be a part of this group, JJ. Thank you for including us with this project.
Thanks, Chris. And VIPC has been our partner for the last 9 years of this evolution, including the original brain trust to build a virtual city for Virginia that a handful of you on this call actually served on. So Ben, Ben Heyman, would you introduce yourself and talk about what you're tackling?
Yeah, absolutely, JJ. Thanks so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to see many familiar faces and meet many new folks. My name is Ben Heyman. I serve as the Executive Director for the University of Virginia's Center for Public Safety and Justice. The Center for Public Safety and Justice at UVA is new, but builds on a very long 5+ decade history of public safety programming at the University of Virginia, spanning both nationally and internationally. We run programs like the FBI's National Academy, a master's degree qualification, a bachelor's program, the National Criminal Justice Command College, and programs that are impacting public safety leaders and law enforcement leaders, both domestically and internationally. Having opportunity to get to know JJ and to get to know the work that is being done in this sector, I see tons of opportunities and potential, in particular for the public safety domain, specifically for law enforcement. Not only are some of the challenges that Chris spoke about with access to training, but the reality is law enforcement is more complex now than it's ever been, and it's only going to continue that trajectory. We have to put the best equipment and we have to put the best training in the hands of our law enforcement professionals. I see just a lot of different opportunities with immersive learning to really get those kind of hands-on experiences to public safety leaders. I'll share one quick anecdote. My prior career was with the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, where I served for almost 2 decades in positions related to technology and personnel management. We often would have a tragedy that would strike in the middle of the night where officers would encounter a very difficult scenario, and they would handle it sometimes successfully and sometimes in ways that there were tactical improvements. Our success or failure as an agency was being able to put that learning out to the other 98 members of the agency so they could learn what those officers experienced and how the agency would want them to handle that more successfully. I see the immersive learning platforms as the next wave of being able to do this to save lives and to improve public safety response. The University of Virginia and the Center for Public Safety and Justice is delighted to be a part of this partnership in any way that we can. And JJ, we're just honored that you had us here today.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. We know you're busy right now, sir. Thank you. Jack Burns, I wonder if you might introduce yourself next. And I would ask you to share the challenge you threw at my feet a year ago.
Oh, sure. Hey, JJ, thanks. Hello, everyone. Jack Burns. I'm with Apple's higher education team covering DC, West Virginia, and Virginia. I have worked and known JJ for probably 8 or 9 years now. And I have been working for the last 8 or 9 years trying to get more immersive learning content created here in the Commonwealth and beyond. And, bringing Apple's relationship to bear. And we have been trying to build a corridor across the Mid-Atlantic here for creating this content. And I met with JJ for breakfast maybe a year and some change ago. And I said, JJ, I love your expertise. You are probably 5 years ahead of everyone I'm working with. And I really think that we need you to become a consultant to accelerate the creation of immersive learning labs and studios. And that's become fruition since that breakfast meeting. So thanks, JJ.
Jack, I just want to point out that you've been our champion for the last 8 years. And so I want to give you a great big thanks. And you introduced us to our first lab. And so I would like to have Dr. Jana Adamitis introduce herself from Christopher Newport University.
Hi, everyone. So I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities at Christopher Newport University. And just this year, with tremendous help and support from JJ and his team, we opened a virtual reality lab. And what we did was a little bit different from what some other universities do because we've centered our lab right in the humanities. So the lab is actually physically located in the humanities building. And we've done a soft opening in the fall, really focusing on humanities faculty to just increase their comfort levels with using this new kind of technology, to give them the freedom and the ability to experiment. This is a lab. We keep emphasizing it's a lab. Nothing is going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and that's fine. It's what you do in the lab. That's what leads to innovation and discovery. So things have been going well so far. We have a partnership with a colleague over in computer science. And so we're starting to do some of the things that JJ is talking about. So our colleague in computer science knows computer science, but we've got a very strong public history center here. So where we're starting is trying to put basically the historic triangle, one little piece at a time, into the virtual world. So creating educational content. We can partner with local museums or historical sites or archaeological sites over the next few years to try to make this a reality. The challenges we have now, it's simply that we're new, right? So we need to train any number of colleagues on how to use, this new technology, and we need a little bit of funding. But I think once we get off the ground, we can expand out of the historic world. We have one of our main initiatives now at the university is to connect with our community. And I think we should do that, and we should be a community resource. And so maybe that means we reach out to Newport News Shipbuilding. Maybe that means we're working with nonprofits. Maybe that means we're working more with the city of Newport News or the military to help them create educational immersive experiences that are appropriate for their worlds.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you, Christopher Newport University is for me so exciting because the opportunity is in arts and humanities. Science is going to get there, but the tools have been made for our artists, right, and our historians to be able to build their own immersive experiences without code. And Jana, your team has already built 4 immersive learning experiences over the summer. Very exciting. Thank you. Dr. Clayton from Air University, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, JJ. Hi, Dr. Andy Clayton here. I work here at Air University at Maxwell Air Force Base. Air University is where all officer and enlisted education sits for the Air Force. So you come in the Air Force, and then you go learn your technical school trades, which is the training side, and then you go do your job in the Air Force. And throughout your career, you have to be developed, and that's when you go through Air University, and that is requirement to continue kind of promoting in the Air Force to develop leaders, if you will. And that's where I sit. I'm assistant professor of leadership here at Air University, and I'm also the chief of experiential learning and AI for Air University, and I do the advanced faculty development. So we try and teach our faculty and staff how to bring in immersive learning. I've known JJ Rochella for 6, 7, 8 years, ever since I've been here at Air University. He is an advisor to us here at Air University. I teach a year-long virtual reality elective, which is it also has AI in it. And JJ is a regular guest speaker for us. He's even come to Air University and actually created content with our students, creating 360 videos and showing us different aspects of how that works. And has been an advisor ever since. And so that's kind of where I sit. I do a lot of the human domain side. So we do the application of leadership behaviors using immersive technology. So we create, I'll call it simulations, but experiences for our airmen and our guardians in the Air and Space Force to practice leadership behaviors using immersive technology, whether it's in virtual reality or extended reality. Mostly using conversation simulations is one part of it, or a big part of it. We did so much it became an Air Force program under the last leadership within the United States, and it became a program where everybody in the Air Force had to get their training through our platform that we developed using conversation simulations and avatars, and there's a lot more to that. And that was something that we built. And that actually all started from JJ's research way back in the days, if you will, if you want to get back into the academics of all those things. Actually started with JJ, but he's been a huge advisor to us. We are now looking at other aspects of leadership training for Air and Space Force people, looking at outdoor leadership reaction courses. So all of our Airmen Guardians go through kind of a crucible of doing stuff outside and leading people outside in physical challenge and stuff. We're now trying to build those things in immersive learning through different platforms in virtual reality, so much that we got picked up by our major command as the finalists and winners of that concept. And now it looks like it will hopefully be built by Arizona State University, where all of our Airmen Guardians will go through a VR experience that allows them to practice command, basically practicing being deployed to a forward operating base in VR and practicing those decision-making skills, competitive resources, contested resources in a VR space together as a team, and then assessing their leadership competencies. So that's kind of where my focus sits in. I think I'm a huge still student of JJ Rochella. He's my advisor. We've done tons of podcasts together. We're going to start those things back up once we get through our teaching load here in the next couple of weeks. But that's kind of where I sit, and we're probably leading across the Air Force when it comes to immersive learning. We have the technical side of the Air Force. Most of our bases do tech training using VR, how to train pilots to fly in VR. We train our maintainers in the Air Force how to fix jets in VR. Our security forces do that. Our firefighters do that. And that's it's a technical thing, so the skill set's very easy to replicate in VR. But when we get past that and get into the human domain, that's where we come in. That's where Air University comes in. That's kind of our focus. And we're getting ready to, I think, use some of the other systems and things that JJ has been a part of here at Air University, moving into our next phase. And what the Congress has asked is to do national leadership assessments of every officer in the Air Force for promotion, because right now we don't do that. And we have lots of people in the Air Force that probably got promoted that shouldn't because of their character and things like that. And so we're going to start using platforms that even JJ has built through some of the things that he's done that is hopefully going to be part of what we call the leadership assessment program for the entire Air Force, using immersive learning, which has never been done before. And I have a colleague, he just had to step out. He's our enlisted side of things, and he is the expert also that runs with me. He'll step in here back in a second. He stepped out for another meeting, but he'll be back in just a little bit.
Andy, thank you so much for being a part of this. This is part of the government exchanging information with academia, right? I mean, we've been successful in collapsing, talking between Department of Homeland Security and the Air Force, right? And see if we can, and I know part of your task is to de-silo, right? To help the Air Force connect with the general industry. So thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you a part of the network.
Thanks, JJ.
Dr. Obaid, would you introduce yourself and tell us what you're tackling?
Sure. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Mohammed Obaid from Shenandoah University. In my role, on the academic side, I direct the virtual reality design. It's an undergraduate program, first in Virginia, as well as the simulation engineering program. And on the admin side, I direct, along with a colleague of mine, the Shenandoah Center for Immersive Learning, which is our on-campus, I guess, a immersive lab, you could call it. We refer to it as a learning environment and a spatial computing studio, because we operate both internally and externally. And I'll comment on both capacities here and very quickly. Internally, we serve, and my vision is for us to be in service to the campus and to our faculty and students, where we can be the equivalent of the library in immersive learning for everybody on campus. Everybody can come and ask for assets and content to be created for their specifically in a bespoke way to their classes, and we've had that happen across the campus, multiple domains across all colleges. And externally, we also take on grants and client work and create solutions as a production studio. So we operate in both capacities, and in both realms, we hire our own students and subcontract our own alumni to get that stuff done. I've had the privilege of working with many people on the call here in various capacities, and it's just great to be among this group. And what we see from our perspective is this sort of oscillating ramp up. I think it's the net direction is up. It's a ramp up of the adoption of this technology, but in an oscillating way. There's a few peaks and valleys here and there, and a few challenges. Some of the challenges I view are, at least on the side of academic institutions, has to do with the barrier of entry, and that includes both the technology, the hardware itself, acquiring the capital for the technology, as well as getting trained on the use of it. Right? I think some of the things that this group can do is alleviate some of these challenges, and happy to play a part in that. I also invite everybody to think about what kind of what a collaboration or multiple collaborations might look like, especially that our lab, our immersive learning lab, has been online for 7 years now, and it was originally founded by JJ, who used to be a colleague of mine here at Shenandoah until he left us. But since then, the lab has evolved and continued in its pursuit. And like I said, we operate in both an external and an internal capacity. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Obaid. So Mohammed took the idea of a production studio that was, or lab that was creating things for the outside world and turning the students into work-study students into workforce, and took them beyond into really spatial computing and some really complex things. And so what's really phenomenal about what Dr. Obaid has done is he's established standards and practices, and his lab will be the model, and his students will be sharing those SOPs with the network, so that we can begin having, you know, a way that we work together. So thank you, Dr. Obaid, for being here. You're so very valuable. Dr. Farina, would you introduce yourself next?
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Crystal Farina. I am the Associate Dean of Pre-Licensure Programs at George Washington University School of Nursing. Prior to this role, I was the Director of Simulation and Experiential Learning at GW, and we have a 20,000 square foot simulation center that has 15 acute care rooms and 20 OSCE type rooms. And we have been partnering with JJ since his days at Shenandoah. We have, it is with JJ's help and his team and VIPC that we have integrated virtual reality into our simulation program. So we have students that have face-to-face simulations and an integration of VR in their learning every single time that they're in simulation. So that has been fantastic. We do have lots of challenges right now. The biggest challenge is we have lost a lot of funding because of research grants and changes that have really impacted GW University and impacted the School of Nursing. And, you know, the other challenge is nursing education doesn't like to change. And so it's really pushing hard to get them to adopt virtual reality and immersive learning. We can show them how much it works and what a great learning opportunity it is, but it is difficult to get us to change, especially when it is a very content-focused curriculum, and we're an accelerated program. So they are start to finish 4 semesters. They learn what other people learn in 4 years in 4 semesters. And so it is very difficult to get some of this up and going, but we continue to push, and that is why we have the integration of what we do. Right now, our big challenge is we need more content, and we need time to build that content, and funding. And that's where we're struggling right now.
Thank you, Dr. Farina. We don't have the time, but you and some of the other people on the call, I'm excited to hear you share return on investment, the ROI that you guys have discovered for the rest of the community. I will say that Dr. Farina is chair of a task force for Medviquitous that I serve on with her to advise the American Association of Medical Colleges the immersive technology that is ready for adoption now. I think Medviquitous and that whole initiative, Dr. Farina, would be a great entity and initiative to bring close with this one. Thank you so very much. David Moody, would you introduce yourself and your what you're tackling?
Thank you, JJ. It's really great to see everybody. I recognize a lot of friendly faces that I've known throughout this journey. Crystal has been really supportive of our nursing folks and others here, Jack. We started investigating immersive technology in 2018, and I come from the University of Virginia. I'm an IT director focused in medicine, and what we find in medicine is that the physicians have this voracious appetite for invention, and so do the nurses. But what they don't have is time, because they are overextended doing what they need to do, which is taking care of patients. And so they've struggled with finding resources. So we try to fill that gap and investigate technologies to help them scale and serve. And throughout this journey, we, after getting a few grants, building a product, that took us a year, we met some folks that were absolutely critical to our understanding of the technology, and JJ was absolutely one of those. And the team that's on this call, Orchestrate XR as well, has showed us what we could do in a few hours that took us a year to develop. And so they showed us that we can scale this work. And we're bringing this to the hospital clinicians, to the School of Medicine and the School of Nursing and others, and they're now engaging. And we're very excited. But we're putting things in the curriculum for both the School of Nursing and the School of Medicine. But we're still struggling with that labor component. Dr. Obaid has been also a great encourager to us, and been at the ready to help us if we needed help. And those two things that he mentioned that are barriers to entry are absolutely true, but our biggest barrier to entry is the available labor. And I believe that this effort, JJ, can help fill that gap for us. And we're trying to, unlog jam this industry, because we see the promise, we're seeing the engagement, but there are a couple of log jams, and I'm excited that this group has pulled us in to be a part, so we can help benefit from that unlog jamming those needs, making them available, and helping with that. So thank you.
David, I appreciate it. Right, there's an element of me of what you said burying the lead, and it's the fact that you are taking what you've learned from the medical and helping to seed it throughout the entire campus, right? And with you doing that, it identifies your large organization as one of the very few that's looking to take it across topics, right? From theater to business to engineering to medical. And so that I think that makes you a wonderful guinea pig for us to watch, right? For us to learn and for us to support from. Is there a colleague that you would like to introduce?
Absolutely. We have our executive IT director for all libraries at the University of Virginia, Stan Gunn. And Stan has been a fabulous partner for us. We look to Stan for support and direction and encouragement and also work together. So Stan, glad to have you on this call. We've just engaged Stan in this process and he's excited about it. So he's probably going to ruminate over all of this that we're sharing. And he's excited about taking this to his dean, he's already has, and to the other leadership, because I believe, and Stan agreed with me earlier today when we were talking, how important the library systems across our academic institutions, not just at the University of Virginia, but across the nation, the important role they can play to help scale this out. Because what the other barriers we've run into is siloed ownership. We don't want siloed ownership to restrict people from participating and collaborating, and libraries are those non-siloed entities that everybody can leverage. So Stan, thank you for your support and being here with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate the invitation. And just to the point earlier about the humanities, we have a digital humanities lab here at the library where we're working with folks on the medical side on LiDAR scanning, AR, VR instances. And we're also getting ready to work with our College of Arts and Sciences to set up a AI lab that'll be cross grounds, that'll be open to anyone at the university who wants to use it.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to ask everybody to really keep it to a minute from here or we'll not finish before the end. So Caius, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Caius Rosella. I'm a master's student at UCF studying interactive entertainment through FIA. I built and run NextWave Network. NextWave Network is a community designed to nurture and house the future immersive workforce. By bringing together creators and industry leaders, the network generates and encourages collaboration within an immersive medium. Through lessons, challenges, and competitions, we help students and creators identify themselves and their capabilities within the field. Where we're at now is we had a successful trial run last year, and now we're ready to launch and bring in additional universities and labs to the network, as well as the need for sponsors to help us continue to run and grow NextWave Network itself.
Thanks, Kai. Dr. Iyer, would you, and so NextWave Network is really the connective communication community that we would utilize to bring everyone together and the students and to treat it like an esports experience where there's challenges, there's identity, there's rewards, there's a community. So Dr. Iyer, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate the opportunity and good morning, everyone. I'm Lakshmi Iyer. I'm professor and head of the Department of Information Systems and Supply Chain Management in the Bryan School at UNC Greensboro. We are really excited. We have had a great partnership with JJ and his team and CDW. I actually have my colleague here, Bahar Porpazadi, who I will let her speak because I know she has been doing amazing work since this past summer, and we really appreciate JJ and the rest of the team that give us a lot of feedback in developing this artifact that we are for cybersecurity training. So Bahar?
Yes, hi. Thank you, Lakshmi. Hi, everyone. My name is Bahar Porvazadi. I'm an assistant professor of information systems at University of North Carolina, Greensboro. And this past summer, with the help of CDW and Russell Immersive, we created a cybersecurity training for the junior workforce development in cybersecurity. So Lakshmi, she didn't mention, but she, along along with two other colleagues of ours, they received $1 million funding from Google last year. And as part of that, they were to set up a cybersecurity clinic in the state of North Carolina. So that's a one-of-a-kind cybersecurity clinic, and it will be until the year 2030. So as part of that, we would reach out to smaller organizations and nonprofit and audit them for their cybersecurity training, for their cybersecurity needs. So we will train the students, and then the students have to go and audit the businesses. The major problem that we saw emerged was the fact that students didn't really know how to interview or ask effective questions from the clients. So usually students are being trained on how to respond to questions because usually they are being interviewed. They are never the interviewer. So that being said, we created a kind of like a simulated VR experience for the students to go ask effective questions based on the NIST framework and the CIS framework that are, you know, accepted cybersecurity frameworks across the industry. So the challenges that we faced in developing the artifact was usually around the technical issues, because we weren't game developers or we weren't VR developers, and that's where the great partnership with CDW and Rusella Immersive came to the rescue. So we really appreciate to be part of the network, and thank you so much.
I think it's crazy that cybersecurity's immersive experience was how to communicate, right? Joe Lastly, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, happy Thursday, everybody. My name is Dr. Joe Lastly. I'm an assistant professor of leadership and organizational studies and the CEO of Gamedynamic Leadership. My work and research sits at the intersection of immersive learning, group dynamics, and leadership development in complex systems, specifically group dynamics and leadership in role-playing games. For over a decade as a scholar, facilitator, and consultant, I've studied how people actually lead by learning, and focusing specifically on the experience in real time, social interactions, and developmental reflection. The core leadership challenge I'm facing is in today's digital world and AI-generated future, leadership is fundamentally human and relational. And so most leadership development still kind of treats it as technical, and the integration of the technical with the human and group level of analysis and experience is part of how I came to collaborate with JJ in his expertise in being able to integrate the power of the human story experience with the technology to leverage all of these things together. And so the real work of leadership happens in group dynamics and how we make meaning together and take on roles and develop in real time. And so at Gamedynamic, we use immersive role-playing and storytelling as the container to be that engaging and immersive way to surface real leadership behaviors and group dynamics as they happen between people. And our focus goes beyond content delivery to prioritize the development of those dynamics and relational awareness and collective sense making in real time. So we design experiences where teams can practice leadership as a social process, reflect on that in action, and carry that into real work.
Thanks, Joe. Joe he's the one service provider on the call because he's the kind, I wanted to represent the kind of people that will be brought in with their expertise. Joe is the future of role play. He's one of the experts, I believe, that's going to be leading us in the understanding of application of role play into immersive training. And by the way, that is the future, living inside of an immersive world that's reacting to you. Thank you for joining us today, Joe. I appreciate. Wendy Howard, would you introduce yourself and your organization and tell us what you're tackling?
Yeah, good morning. We're kind of new to this conversation, so thank you for the invitation. I'm Dr. Wendy Howard, the director of our Digital Learning Innovation Lab here at the University of Central Florida. And one of our greatest challenges at UCF is there's a lot of great work being done in this space, and yet it's very decentralized. Case in point, I'm embarrassed to say I've never met Caius, and I think I need to. So I will follow up with you after this call. But there's a lot of work being done here in our FIA, but also we have an Institute of Simulation and Training with a long history of research and development in this space. It's being led currently by the inventor of the CAVE system, Carolina Cruz Navarro. So a lot of work is being done in research and development there, but it's primarily military applications. So in my role, what we're really focused on is trying to leverage those developments for instruction across the university. So we have a lot of similar challenges that have been brought up earlier in today's conversation, especially at scale. At our size, we're the second largest university in the country. So we're trying very much to scale anything we do. So our efforts are in the early stages to centralize faculty development and support. To build content. Open education is core to what we do. It's a core value at UCF. So as we develop content, we are happy to share. We're thrilled to learn more about the model that you've developed that maybe we can replicate here to help build more content that can be shared. Cost has been a major challenge, especially at scale. So hardware and infrastructure to make this available to our students has been a huge challenge. Just the general access. We have a lot of installations around the university. College of Medicine has a lot of money, so they have their own setup, nursing, health professions, in addition to entertainment, which Caius was talking about. We have a huge fundraising effort right now for theater and the arts and humanities that's in the very early stages. But what I'm most excited about is our library just built an igloo system to make things available across all of the colleges that don't have access to those grants and funding for their own installations. And again, for me, what I'm really focused on is supporting our faculty at scale, but also with an eye toward our online population. A lot of our online students, we're looking to provide them with an equivalent experience to what's happening in the physical spaces.
Wendy, when last we spoke, your associate provost for distance learning said he'd love to add immersive learning, but there's no content. Right?
Exactly.
And what's crazy about that is, to me, UCF is arguably one of the leading universities in immersive technology in the country. I mean, arguably the world. I mean, your patents. I mean, so the idea is, can we get to scale with you guys? Can you help us look at scale, not what's possible, but what we can get to everybody? Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, I started my career as a junior faculty member with UCF, and all of my ideas began there. So there's love there. Thank you for joining us. Rachel Jones, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. My name is Rachel Jones. I'm the Director of Media and Digital Operations with the Division of Digital Transformation and Technology at Old Dominion University. And we are we're very new into this. We got the invitation a couple of days ago actually to come into this meeting, and I'm so excited to be here and listen to what all these other universities are doing. We are just getting our toes wet in this new venture, but last year about this time, ODU launched a comprehensive digital transformation as part of its forward-focused strategic framework, which was an initiative put on by the president to completely transform the university and kind of bring it into the 21st century, overhaul all of the classrooms, bring in immersive technologies, and build a XRES lab. So over the last 6 months, we have been working to develop and create an opportunity for students and faculty to come in and utilize it for coursework specifically. Again, we're very, very new at this, so this is something that we're just getting into, and it's so inspiring to listen to what all these other universities and companies have been doing and what they've developed, and it really excites me to see where we can go with this in the future. We have a small lab right now that we're working to develop into a bigger lab, which is kind of where we're looking for some inspiration and some help. And we're utilizing this lab as a flagship so that other departments can come in, see what their departments are able to have and build, and then we go out and we're going to kind of replicate these different labs in each department so that their department has their own specific ability to utilize this for their students.
Thank you for joining us today. You sit much in the same place as UVA for me, because your provost is looking at this campus wide, right?
Yes.
So we appreciate you joining us. Rob Moore, would you introduce yourself? And let me just remind everyone, we need to stick to a minute so we can get to a close on time. Go ahead, Rob.
Good morning. My name is Rob Moore. I'm the CEO of Orchestrate XR. We're excited to be here. I am in flight in between some personal issues, so I'm going to turn the time over to Aaron, and he's going to introduce himself and do a little bit more introduction of the company. So, Aaron.
Thanks, Rob. I'm Aaron. I'm the CTO here at Orchestrate XR. I count myself very privileged to call many of you colleagues, customers, collaborators, and it's been my distinct privilege to have been collaborating with JJ when we set up Access VR, which became Orchestrate XR. We create tools that make it easy for you to create XR content. XR content spanning AR, the VR headsets, the new glasses that are coming online from companies like Meta, and we hope Apple eventually, as well as the great and wonderful space that is artificial intelligence. We have a web-based product that anybody can quickly learn to use to create content and publish onto any of those devices. And our most recent addition to this tool is an AI-based avatar training system where our customers can come in and create these AI characters and then proceed to have conversational-based skills training, especially things like standardized patient. We do focus on healthcare right now in our marketing and support, but the tool is general purpose and is in active usage by several people on this call for things that are not healthcare related, and those applications excite us just as much as healthcare does. Within our platform is also a marketplace. The intention of that marketplace is to provide a space where creators can publish the things that they have created with Orchestrate XR so that other people can purchase those things. In that sense, we hope that we are really well aligned for the intention here, which is, to build this network. And I look forward to many conversations ahead with all of you. Our culture is aligned to listening to what our customers need, and that is the source of the innovation for us. That's what helps us to make the tool better and better all the time. Our biggest challenge is simply developing our customer base, and it's the same challenge that I'm hearing everybody echo, which is creating more content and then leaning into an accreditation process that makes that content standard. So that those things can really scale. And a near-term challenge is going to be finding a laboratory space where we can actually collaborate in a physical way as we explore a foray into 6 Degrees of Freedom VR.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Aaron was a part of this since the original Brain Trust with VIPC and Governor Northam. Chris Madsen, would you introduce yourself?
Hey, JJ, thanks for having me here. I'm Chris Madsen. I'm with the Engage platform. We've been around since 2012, 2013 with the developer kit #1. We specialize in multi-user experiences for education, up to 70 people in the same space together, interacting with each other and the environment. And when our CEO purchased the platform way back then, his goal was, we want the holodeck. And that's really what we've been working on for the past 12 years, where, I go back to those early days. I come from the behavioral science field. I was not a developer, programmer. And it was in those early days, we had to rely on those wizards to create content, and we were just consumers of that content. We couldn't create because we didn't have the skills to create. And then we moved into this phase where stores like Sketchfab and these 3D marketplaces started to open up, and suddenly we were able to start bringing content over from these other spaces, becoming much more accessible to educators. And now I'm so excited over the last year and into the future where we're now reaching this phase where you got a cell phone, you can scan an entire real world environment and instantly drag and drop that into virtual reality, bringing in videos, audio, doing spatial captures of any scenario you want. Completely accessible to my mom if she wants to do that, which is so exciting for folks like myself, where suddenly everybody is a creator in this new economy. And now we're at a place where literally right now, I can step onto the platform and pull up my AI assistant and say, put me in the Amazon rainforest, and in 25 seconds, we're in whatever environment you want to speak into existence. Create a 3D model of a toucan so that I can put it into that forest. Within 4 minutes, a detailed 3D model is there. It's yours. It gets automatically added to your library for future use. So now we're moving from this phase of having to learn all these menus to just, it's the holodeck. Speak it into existence. I always tell educators, how would you do education differently if you were given a magic wand?
Yes.
They're not going to be in their classroom. They're going to be wherever they want to be, and they're going to be creating scenarios. And our next steps are, we already can create these amazing AI characters in full 6 degrees of freedom, and we're now integrating that with our editor system. So you can literally say something like, I want an environment in ancient Rome. I want AIs that are playing the roles of shopkeepers, etc. Anyway, you see where this is going. I wanted to keep it short, but very excited about the future. And you're right. It's all about content, being able to create content, consume content, low-hanging fruit for folks, and that training piece. You still got to go to the Wizard's Tower to learn what's capable with that magic wand. So there you go.
Well, Chris, you Orchestrate XR and Engage represent two of the sandboxes that are ready for people to create infinite stuff. For anyone that has to leave in 5 minutes, we are recording this, but I'm going to let this run over, and then we will stay for questions for anyone that has questions. The next person I would like to ask to introduce themselves is Matt Varon. Matt? Greg Henderson?
Hi, this is Erica Cordes. I'm stepping in for Greg Henderson. I'm part of the CDW education team. I know you're tight on time, so it's nice to work with you, but we look to support all of these endeavors in the areas that we can support our universities.
Well, we thank you very much because with your partnership in this, we get access to an entire sales force that can help promote this throughout the country. And so it is so greatly appreciated, your partnership here. Is Andy Phelps here?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, JJ. So my name is Andy Phelps. I'm the Director of IT for University of Virginia's Northern Virginia campus. UVA Northern Virginia is UVA's first official campus outside of Charlottesville. And we just opened doors last spring. So we're almost, I've been almost been open for about a year. So our charter is to bring programming from all the schools at the University of Virginia to the Northern Virginia area, as well as from the School of Medicine. We've got nursing programming, and also Masters of Systems Engineering classes going on as well. So another one of our focuses is to support UVA's alumni. UVA has over 100,000 alumni living in the greater Washington, D.C. area. So they're able to come and use our space as well as their organizations to conduct professional development training, executive learning, things like that. And then we've also got a community focus. For the past 3 years, we've been providing summer programming for rising junior and senior high school students where they come take classes from UVA professors. Already, we've got over 175 students registered for this summer to take classes in forensics and data science and AI and computer science and programming. So I believe our kind of unique area that we're able to bring together all the schools from UVA, Medical Center, and the local community and alumni is perfect for bringing in immersive education, especially as we're in the initial phases of building out our programming here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Anthony Perella.
Hi, everybody. I also have had the distinct pleasure of working with JJ for a long time. We've known each other for 20 years. And over that time, I've had the pleasure of working with several people on this call. And one of the things that I've been specializing in over the last few years is I manage post-production for all the red carpet events. So the Oscars, the Grammys, we just did the Golden Globes. And my specialty is in coordinating strategic partnerships and creating custom workflows and pipelines for media projects, creative projects. Thank you. I think it was David Moody mentioned that you were dealing with the log jams. That is my specialty. Getting rid of log jams in a creative pipeline when you've got lots of stakeholders involved. That's the thing that I specialize in and what I'm here to help with. It's the problem that I'm very excited to help solve, keeping everybody in this initiative moving in the same direction together in lockstep. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are here to build the bridge. Government has invested, industry has built tools. We need academia to step in and create content for us to reach mass adoption. So what's the ask, right? Fundamentally, the invitation is to share your knowledge, discoveries, challenges, and triumphs with the community so that others may follow in your footsteps. In approximately a week, we'll be inviting you to Next Wave Network and beginning communication amongst the participants. On February 5th, we'll have our next strategic meeting where we will explore a roadmap forward and coordinate next steps. I'd like to introduce you to your point of contact.
Hi, if you have any questions or need anything at all, please reach out to me via my email on the screen.
And my partner, Tim House.
Hey, nice to meet everybody and see some of you that I've known before. I know we're running late at time, but I just want to say it's a real impressive group of people. It's amazing to see, as diverse as it is from the different fields we're coming in, the alignment here. And I'm just excited to see everybody on the network and start collaborating.
So I'd like to thank all of you for your time. I know you're all very busy. For those who wish to stay, we'll be taking questions. And for those who need to go, thank you again for your time. We'll be sending out this recording for you to share with your network.